If you're going to make the argument that female circumcision is primarily conducted on young girls who are not able to give consent, well, what about boys? They don't give consent. My mother and aunt and grandmother approached me. I was already in college and told me that they were going to take us back to Sierra Leone, but I didn't know anything at the time about circumcision. It was excruciating. It was very, very, very painful. And for somebody like me, you know, being mainly brought up in the US, I just had never experienced anything like that. This is why I say that I do understand some of the venom of anti-FGM activists. Because of course I go back to that moment and I know how I felt. After a couple of days, the pain started to subside. And then it was more of the psychological, what have they done? You know, I had no idea what I looked like. You know, am I going to enjoy sex again? That was the test for me. Am I going to just even have the same desire? Of course, that didn't change. And then, you know, the same feeling, the same, you know, when my man goes down on me. I mean, it just, there's no difference. So it didn't affect me at all. I think for a lot of women as well, the external clitoris is extremely, I know in my case, extremely, extremely sensitive, almost too sensitive. And that's how I was. It was just too sensitive. I'd never had an orgasm with oral sex prior to. I have orgasms with oral sex. You know, much of what I'm saying is not a surprise to researchers in the field because they're there, they know, they talk to women. Physicians, the bulk of evidence supports my experience, but you wouldn't know that from just reading the activist literature because they say off the bat, oh, this is something that is done to diminish women's pleasure.
It's intended to be damaging.
It has to do with preventing a girl from having pleasurable sex before marriage.
I was in Gambia for 5 years, and a major emphasis of my field work was on sexuality. I wanted to know, am I unique? Am I different? You know, when I tried to explain it to them that, oh, Western women say that this is the part that makes a woman, they just laugh. I have all this data that contradicts what is being put out there, and anti-FGM activists are absolutely not interested in data or evidence at all. I realize it's a very unpopular position, and I've certainly paid my price. I view myself as being kind of a cultural ambassador to explain this particular practice from the point of view of supporters. Most of the women who engage in this, who practice this, think there's nothing wrong with what we do. It's been handed down to us. We're proud of it. We're honored by it. We're better for it. We're cleaner. We're more hygienic. We enjoy sex better. This is what they say. Why should we change? Just like with the vast majority of circumcised men, try convincing them that they've done harm or they're mutilated, or, you know, they would reject that completely.